Welcome to Pop Cult, where we talk reality TV, celebrity chaos, and pop culture throwbacks.
Good morning, everyone. I hope everyone having a great day. We're your host. I'm Julia,
And I'm Avery.
and we post 2 episodes every week. Mondays, oh my god. Tuesdays are for our reality digest, and Thursdays are for our Fame Files. Reality digest, we're gonna go over all of last week's reality chaos, and then our Fame Files, we're gonna go over past pop culture events that are still relevant today, which is exactly what we were doing today. Is another Fame Files. I actually have no idea what we're doing now that
We are talking about some Bachelor scandals. So when this episode comes out, I believe it will be the Thursday before the new season of The Bachelorette premieres. So I figured we might as well run it back and talk about some scandals throughout the franchise. Yeah, so this will come out on the 19th as we prepare for what I'm sure will be a season full of scandals with Taylor Frankie Paul as our lead.
I can get behind that.
Yeah, and as we're recording this, it's the day before season 4 comes out of Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, so I'm excited to watch it.
My goodness, it does come out tonight.
Oh yeah, I guess it doesn't come out at midnight.
I would assume so.
Oh my gosh. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. This episode is not about Taylor Frankie Paul, so I'll make this quick. But I'm not gonna lie. I've seen some press that specifically Macy and Michaela have been doing, and they do not have glowing reviews for Taylor this season.
Okay. I haven't seen
So-
anything like that.
That's going to be interesting. I kind of am anticipating a little bit of a shift, but who knows? Anyway, so today we're talking about, let me see, I honestly can't remember how many. 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5 different scandals. I thought it was only 4. So this is going to work similarly to our YouTube scandals episode. So I'm going to, it's like shorter versions of each one of these, but most of them have some sort of similarity, which you'll be able to deduce once we get into it. But let's go ahead and get started. So in case you live under a rock for the last 23 years, The Bachelor is a reality dating show which first aired on March 25th, 2002, which is wild to think about. Hosted by TV personality Chris Harrison. The series was created by Mike Fleiss and shot in LA at the famous Bachelor Mansion the majority of the time before they go abroad, of course, because typically they do that every season. There have been many spin-offs, but of course The Bachelorette was the next, and that one aired on January 8th, 2003 with lead Trista Sutter, who was the runner-up on the first season of The Bachelor. So essentially, for anyone who doesn't know, the plot is that the lead, titled The Bachelor or Bachelorette, hence the name of the show, is a single man or woman who has been given a list of like 20 to 30 contestants that they will date for, I think it's around 6 weeks. Does that sound right?
Yeah, like 2 months-ish.
Yeah. And each week they eliminate contestants until only one remains, and then the expectation is that they get engaged at the finale. Typically, the lead of the next seasons are at least a final 4 contestant from the previous season. So they basically switch off franchise. So it'll be a Bachelor season, Bachelorette, etc. The Bachelor has had 29 seasons under its belt, and The Bachelorette has 21, with Taylor Frankie Paul's upcoming season being the 22nd. I'm sure you can imagine that a show of this premise comes with a fair amount of scandal. So that's what we are going to talk about today. I actually do something I was thinking about. I do think it's a little bit funny that like when The Bachelor first aired, it really was like the only reality dating show, I feel like, and it was super scandalous, like the premise. And it's funny to me that now I feel like in today's age with all of the dating shows that we have, The Bachelor is actually like
It's
the most
least
pure.
scandalous, yeah. Because
Yes.
like they're not in a bathing suit the whole time.
Right. The Bachelor has nothing on Love Island and Temptation Island, respectfully. So it's just funny to me to think about that. Like now it also just has to do with like ABC and like their strict rules and stuff. Do you have any, like, is there a scandal that you can think of off the top of your head that you think I might touch on?
You talk about Hannah Brown.
No, that's going to be a separate episode.
Fair. What about Claire and Dale?
Yes, Claire and Dale's in here. There's one other that I feel like you might.
Clayton?
No, that's going to be a separate episode.
Oh dang. Sorry.
Well, his whole no, it's okay. His whole thing with like his court case too. We're gonna do an episode on him in general.
The other one, Ari's season.
Yes. Yep. Good guesses. Okay, so you got 2 out of the 5. So let's jump into it. For this first one, we are actually going to be throwing it back to 2009. This is not a season that I've watched, so I like knew kind of what happened, but I definitely did not know everything. So, as you mentioned, anyone who has watched The Bachelor in the last decade or so would be familiar with Ari's season.
Yeah.
His little switcheroo,
Mm-hmm.
if you will. But before there was Ari, there was Jason Mesnick. He was the lead of season 13 of The Bachelor after being a fan favorite on Deanna Papa's season of The Bachelorette. He was 32 years old and also a single dad at the time, which I thought was interesting. I don't think we've had another single dad as a Bachelor.
I don't think so.
Yeah, definitely single moms, but I don't think any single dads other than him. At the end of his season, he had 2 women left, Melissa Rycroft and Molly Mullaney. He proposed to Melissa and he said yes. But then shit hit the fan after the final rose episode, which for anyone who doesn't know what that is, it like an hour-long show, I think, that airs directly after the finale episode.
Yeah, it's like their version of a reunion, kind of.
True. I didn't really think about it like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Like, we hear from the lead and their hopefully still fiance, and usually the runner-up and the lead will typically speak with both, and maybe like a villain or somebody who was like iconic in the season. But for Jason, this happened to be the moment that he chose to tell his fiance on camera that he was still in love with his runner-up, Molly. So he dumped her and broke off their engagement on national TV 6 weeks later.
That's a little more intense than Ari, I will say.
Right. And I was a little bit convoluted on whether or not they had like had a conversation about potentially breaking it off before after the final
you think
rose.
She knew?
But I don't know. I think she might have gone in there knowing that like they were just taking it slower, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Like they were kind of taking a step back, but then like he fully
and she
dumped
didn't
her.
Realize that. Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you can still watch the clip. It's like extremely painful. Yeah. So Chris has a one-on-one conversation with Jason. Chris Harrison, the host, has a one-on-one conversation with Jason where Jason tells Chris that he's literally going to end it right then. He basically
with Molly sitting next to him. Wait. Sorry.
This was before Molly.
Okay. With Melissa sitting next to him.
Yes, sorry. With Melissa. I think Melissa was like backstage and she couldn't hear anything.
And okay.
He was sitting on camera with Chris telling him that like this isn't right. I'm gonna end it with her when she comes out here, which is beyond messed up.
Yeah.
I would like I would get taken away in handcuffs.
Imagine being in the audience that day.
Oh my god. It's honestly, he's lucky there wasn't a mob. Basically, he's just telling her like, you're amazing, you're exactly what I was looking for, blah 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 blah, but then sandwiches that in between, this isn't right.
Well, obviously you weren't, but okay.
Right. She's obviously pissed. She calls him a bastard and says that the worst part is taking away the engagement. Like, she didn't want to get engaged more than once, of course. Like, she's like, I can't believe you've taken away, you've stolen this from me. I'll never be able to have my first engagement back. And she literally gives him the ring back on camera, sitting on the couch.
Good for her.
In true Chris Harrison fashion, he interrupts with a commercial, which just pissed me off even when I was watching it on YouTube.
He's kind of ugly.
Jason Mesnick?
Yeah. Maybe he was. Yeah. He's probably cute when he was the Batch. He's just old.
Yeah, he definitely was. I don't know. I feel like The Bachelor notoriously casts, like, not very attractive men, but maybe that's just me.
Yeah.
But then after the commercial, they bring out Molly and he tells her that he ended it with Melissa and can't stop thinking about her and that he's still in love with her. She's like visibly confused and he just essentially like asks her out on a date, but she agrees to see where things go and then she kisses him on camera.
Oh, okay.
I don't know about you, but if I had been dumped by somebody 6 weeks earlier, found out that they just broke off their engagement, I wouldn't be kissing them.
But like, did she realize that it what happened like just then?
I don't think so.
Okay,
no.
So maybe we can give her a pass.
Yeah, sure. Anyway, he faced a ton of backlash online.
Yeah.
Classic. I think it really turned a lot of people off of the show as well because he was 32 and a dad, and I think people expected him to just have his shit together a little bit more. He also claims that the chemistry between him and Melissa was off from the start, right after wrapping, and that she knew what was coming after the final rose. But
I just want to know what made him like pick Melissa first.
I
Like, you know
know.
what I'm saying? I wondered the same thing with Ari. Like, what's your thought process? Like, why didn't you? Because I know like your gut feeling was the other girl. So why did you do it?
It just makes you wonder if the same thing would have happened had they picked the other one.
I don't know.
Like, would he have done this same exact thing? It's almost just like buyer's remorse or something. It doesn't
Yeah.
even matter who it would have been.
Like, get over it.
Right. It's just strange. And also sometimes I think it comes down to like who your family wants you to pick too.
Maybe.
We're going to talk about another one that's kind of like that, but yeah, I mean, we definitely don't have the full context here, but I can't find his season. So things turned out like okay for Melissa though, because just after she got dumped on national television, she actually got asked to do Dancing with the Stars.
Cute. Did she win?
She did not win, but she did finish third.
Oh, cute. Okay.
So good for her. Knowing The Bachelor, she was probably like a former NFL dancer or something. I feel like they love a former NFL dancer.
Yeah.
As a contestant. She then was a correspondent on Good Morning America for a time and is married now and has 3 children with her husband. And they also had a CMT reality show together at one point. She also wrote a book, I think around like 2011, 2012-ish, called My Reality.
Oh, okay.
Which I know you'll love. And what she said about the situation was, quote, "I really thought I was supposed to marry Jason."
She was a Dallas Cowboy cheerleader. You were so right.
Oh, and can we get a round of applause for my exceptional guessing skills?
She was also arrested for a DWI.
Oh, you know what?
In October 2025.
Recently?
Yeah.
My God.
It was posted on October 2025. Oh, yeah. It was on September 23rd.
Girl,
well,
Melissa,
I'm trying to find her
so
Instagram,
good.
And she like doesn't have one. Whatever.
She probably has a different last name, but I can't remember what it is.
Oh, okay. Never mind then. But I just found that.
Okay, well, I definitely did not have that in here, but that's okay. I hope
okay.
she's alright. I did find like a little blurb of what she said about her whole situation. She said, quote, "I really thought I was supposed to marry Jason. I really thought I was in love with him. Looking back 3 years later, I'm now married and I know what that love feels like." So she says that she has no hard feelings, but I don't think that she's spoken to either Jason or Molly since. And as for the two of them, they got married on camera in 2010, and I think they have 2 kids together, but they are still married.
Okay.
So clearly
Good
he did make the right choice.
He just needed to pivot, I guess.
Yeah, but I do think it's funny, that question that you asked, like, why didn't he just pick her from the start if he knew that like she was so right for him?
I don't get it.
Yeah, because I think you're right. Like, obviously everybody has a final 2, but I feel like the vast majority of leads,
They
like
just
Joey
know.
did this,
Like yeah.
or they know for weeks, but they just have to finish.
They
out
had to
the
tell
show.
Joey to calm down.
I know, and like I remember when Joey's final 2, Kelsey and Daisy, like when Daisy went to Kelsey's room.
Oh yeah, and there was like a 13-page letter from Joey, and she's trying to hide it.
Yes, that was like tea, honestly. And if I were the other person, I would honestly be a little bit salty that they continue to drag me along.
But like, I think at that point you're like kind of contractually obligated to stay.
True.
Wait, what's that one clip where that girl gets out of the car and she lands in mud? And she says, "Don't let so and so jump in this" when she comes to get engaged, because she like immediately knew that it wasn't going to be her. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I feel like yes, but I don't remember who that was. I feel like it was recent. Here's the thing with Jason and Molly. This was the first time that something like this had happened, but it certainly was not the last. Because about a decade later, in 2018, Bachelor lead Ari Lyondike, I think is how you say his name, basically did the same exact thing.
Trust TikTok is my savior. I found it.
Oh, okay.
Hold on. It says Gabby and Zach.
Oh, Gabby and Katie Bigger. Oh yeah, okay.
What
I wondered if that's who it was.
This? Who is that?
He came from, I think, the Rachel and Gabby season where they were co-leads.
So this is another Gabby, ironically.
Gabby Wendy from like Traders last season.
This is not Gabby Wendy.
Oh yeah. His other girl was named Gabby.
Okay. Hold on. Oh yeah, when Katie arrives, don't do that. That's what she says.
I'm
She
dead.
said when it
She
actually
fully
matters,
knew.
when Katie arrives, don't do that, is exactly what she said.
I'm dead. And you know what's funny about that is that Zach slept with both of them, but
Ew.
they're I'm pretty sure that Katie and that Gabby girl are still like really good friends.
And neither of them were Zach.
No, Katie and him are married, I think. Isn't that funny?
Wait, I recognize Zach. Oh.
Yeah. He was like the most he was like
I
a
think I
carbon
gave up
copy
on
of-
that. I think I gave up on that season because I recognize that man.
He was so boring.
That's probably why.
dude.
I don't think I finished it.
Oh my god, he was so boring. Yeah, that was like the worst casting choice, and I really like was not a fan of him. I don't remember why. I always end up hating The Bachelor by the end of their season.
Except for Joey.
Yeah, except for Joey. Okay, back to Ari. Ari was 36 on his season 22 of The Bachelor, where he was the lead. He was the runner. He was kind of an interesting case. He was the runner-up on Emily Maynard's season of The Bachelorette in 2012, which was season 8. So very big gap here.
Massive.
Yeah, and he, in a very weird turn of events, came back 6 years later as The Bachelor. I honestly don't remember why they did that.
I have no idea, but this is the first season of Bachelor, Bachelorette, whatever I ever watched.
No way.
Was Ari's season, yeah.
Honestly, I feel like it might have been partly because they had a string of unsuccessful seasons and they were hoping that a 36-year-old would be
Could get it together.
successful.
Ironic. Well, I mean,
I know. Not entirely.
They
but
have like 4
we'll
kids.
Get there. Yeah, we'll get there. During his season, he proposed to Bachelor Nation royalty, in my humble opinion.
I agree.
Becca Kufrin, leaving his runner-up Lauren Burnham officially dumped. Womp womp womp.
Bye-bye, Lauren.
But not for long, because unfortunately their engagement was short-lived. Because just 2 months after the engagement on the show, he blindsided her during one of their happy couple weekends in LA. A happy couple weekend is basically like little weekend trips that production sends the final couples on during the hiatus between filming and the finale so that they can see each other, but they can also make sure that they're not like spoiling the show and being out in public seen together, which I can't imagine how annoying that has to be.
Yeah, I would actually hate that.
Yeah, like that's just a lot. I feel like it's like a year in between your end of filming and when the show finishes premiering. Like, no thank you.
Yeah,
Essentially, she had zero idea, Becca, that he was going to do this to her. Like, let alone on camera. Their conversation was actually heartbreaking from what I remember.
Oh my god, yeah. It was crazy.
It was terrible. At one point, she like runs away from him. Like, they're sitting on a couch, and I'm assuming she did that just to like get away from him, but also to cry in peace. But the cameras were following her everywhere, and he was just making it worse by following her. It's like he wanted to make himself feel better by being like, Becca, please, like, I didn't mean to hurt you, blah, blah, blah. But she's like, get away from me. Literally, get away from me. I feel like I remember her saying that.
I don't know. I haven't seen that in so long.
I watched it on YouTube, and it was definitely less dramatic than I feel like I remember. But in the moment, because obviously this was before very much more dramatic reality television graced our screens.
It was like actually like world ending at that point.
Totally. Basically, though, he just talks about how he's been struggling, and he literally says that he still thinks about Lauren all the time.
From what I remember, does he not mention that he has been texting Lauren?
I think so.
Yikes.
I think so, yeah. Which is effed up. But he basically is just like, yeah, I want to reconcile things with her. Like, I think I made the wrong decision. And he essentially forces Becca to have a final conversation on camera, kind of humiliating her by doing that and knowing that it would be aired. She was also, as upset as she was also visibly pissed that he's doing this to her. And at one point she looked at him dead in the face and said, "Are you fucking kidding me?"
Yeah, that's crazy. I
Yeah.
feel horrible.
Apparently, prior to this conversation that he had with her, he went to Chris Harrison telling him that he just physically could not fake it for another weekend and had to break up with her immediately at the happy couple. Like, he's like, I'm not even gonna give it, the weekend to make sure. I think it's like, it begs the question, like, why were the cameras there? Because at the happy couple weekends, the cameras aren't there. The only time that the cameras have ever been at a happy couple weekend is if somebody is getting dumped, right? So I think it begs the question, like, Ari told, because he went to Chris Harrison, he opened up the door for the cameras to do this on camera, and like, he didn't have to do that. He fully could have just gone to this happy couple weekend, broken up with her, and then told them after the fact.
Yeah, it doesn't, because they also, like, thinking back, like, they did Hannah Brown and Jed's breakup on camera too.
Yeah,
But she might have asked for the I don't know.
Yeah, I kind of feel like that one is a little bit different only because he was like
I think she wanted
cheating.
him to be flamed.
Yes, it was kind of like Scandival. Like,
Yeah, like it needed because so that they would see him as a bad person, which he is, but like she wanted to
yes,
make sure that we saw that.
she wanted to control the
Yeah.
narrative. But I feel like that's why Ari did this because he wanted to control the narrative and he thought that he was going to come out looking
How does
fine,
that?
which is
No.
crazy.
There's no in no realm would he come out looking okay from that.
No, not at all. But I also wonder, he always has felt kind of like a rule follower to me, so I wonder if he was like scared that he was going to be like in breach of contract if he
I
didn't
don't know. He's
inform
on
them.
season 1 of Traitors, and
Yeah.
he becomes a spoiler. He becomes a traitor,
Yeah, I know. It's so funny
and
watching
he's
him
just
try to
like
do
not
that.
good at it.
No, it's giving, I
But
mean,
he also like can't lie.
yeah, that situation was truly identical to Rob picking Eric as a traitor.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Yeah. All this to say, I do actually think that Ari is like a good guy. Like, he seems like a good person.
I
Whatever.
think
This
that
was not a
in
great moment for him.
in his case and in Jason's case, like it's just a classic case of a man can't make a damn decision. Okay?
Right.
And then they get faced with a decision that they have to actually make, and they truly can't ask for anyone's advice because you can't spoil the decision because you're on a TV show.
Mm-hmm.
And then you end up having to make it alone, and you mess up because you can't do it yourself.
Right. And I also think that another thing to consider is that kind of like what Melissa said, where she's saying, you know, you took away my engagement from me. Like, now you've like tainted this what should be a once in a lifetime experience. I
Yeah.
almost feel like that's what she and Becca are both kind of probably more upset over. It's just the fact that he like robbed them of this. Because if you really think about it, in this grand scheme of the show, it's like 6 to 8 weeks that you've known this person. I love to be dramatic about it. I love to take it super serious, but like in the grand scheme of things, that's just really not that long of a time. So how much of a deep relationship could you even really have built with this person? But all that to say, he did still get a lot of backlash for this, but also The Bachelor as a franchise for filming it. Like, a lot of former cast members called them out, saying that this was truly a new low and really, really crossing the line, which I think goes to show how pure of a reality show The Bachelor was at this point.
Mm-hmm.
If they, because whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Funnily enough, Molly Mesnick tweeted about the situation. She said, quote, "Wouldn't you consider learning from the mistakes of those before you? Maybe call and ask what not to do, like filming the breakup." Directing that at Ari. I'm dead. She's like, call my husband and ask him what he did, and he'll tell you what not to do. Former Bachelor Ben Higgins also tweeted, quote, "How did this breakup end up on camera? Seems like a private conversation. We don't belong in this conversation, but I'm still watching." Okay, so him dumping her all aired in the 2-part finale.
Okay.
And it happened in part 1.
Okay.
So I think part 1 probably starts with,
then what the hell was part 2?
Well, I'm so glad
I'm so
you
sorry.
asked.
I apologize.
No, don't apologize. I'm glad you asked. Sometimes Julia follows along in the doc when I'm reading, but sometimes she doesn't. And I actually prefer it when you don't.
Okay, sometimes it's like I like just stop looking at my phone for a second so I can just like be in the moment. And then I get excited and I don't read it.
Okay, well, I'm so glad you asked because in part 2, you see him showing up at Lauren's house in Virginia. Screaming.
Virginia.
And this is what you were alluding to earlier. She basically takes him back instantly, which makes sense because it was confirmed that he had already had a combo with her, asking her if she would take him back off camera.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
I think that conversation happened before he ended it with Becca.
I agree. I don't, and here's the thing, because if she had said no, I can almost guarantee you he would have stayed with Becca.
Oh my god, I think you're so right.
Because I just so vividly remember when he broke up with Becca, she was like, "Have you been texting with Lauren? Like, what do you mean you're talking to, like, you're thinking about this?" And he was like, "Yeah, I've been talking to Lauren."
Oh my god, I would actually strangle him. I know, I think you could be right. And like, also, imagine if like Lauren had already been made the new Bachelorette or something. He definitely wouldn't have.
No, she's already like in a contract. She's like, too late.
Yeah. But also, I think what's so messed up about this is, okay, so you're okay with preserving your own dignity to have this conversation with Lauren off camera, but you don't give a shit enough about Becca to preserve her dignity and her feelings to have that conversation with her off camera. Like, you can't have your cake and eat it too, buddy. We're on to you. that pissed me off bad when I was writing this.
Yeah.
Okay, so they reconciled, but then to make matters worse, in part 2, he proposed to her after the final rose.
And Becca was there.
Yes, I'm
Ugh.
sure she was. This is a little short snippet that I grabbed that he said, quote, "I've made some bad decisions, but the best was running back to you." Becca was truly so gracious after the final rose, but she did say, "You robbed me of that. I'll never have that first proposal and engagement again."
Yeah, I mean, I think that's really fair.
Yeah, which I think all but confirms my suspicions that that's probably what they're more so upset about than anything else.
Yeah.
I mean, ultimately, Becca did become the Bachelorette for season 14, where she did get engaged.
To Garrett.
Yes, to
Ugh.
Garrett. They did not end up getting married. I wondered if you knew about all that, but I guess that makes sense since Ari's
did-
season was your first.
Yeah, I watched Becca's season. I watched her break up with Garrett. And they said it was amicable, but then they were throwing shots at each other on their Instagram stories.
Yeah, that was crazy.
But now she's married with a kid, and she has another kid on the way.
Yes, I just found out she was pregnant. So then she goes on Bachelor in Paradise, where she meets her now husband, Thomas.
Which is crazy, because I did not like Thomas at all. Not on Paradise. I didn't watch Paradise, but the season, whoever season he was on, he was like the villain.
Yes, no, that's the thing. Funnily enough, he was the villain on Katie Thurston's season. I actually really think, and then I did watch that season of Bachelor in Paradise, and I really, really liked him. And Becca has spoken on that since. Like, she's basically said more or less he got about edited. Like,
Yeah, it was like
basically
it
has
was
called out
100%
Katie.
like absolutely the edit.
Yes,
Oh,
and
Katie.
basically like I actually think, you know what's funny is that I feel like Katie Thurston went into her season as a really popular choice, and then by the time her season was over, like everyone really didn't like her that much.
Okay.
But I never really had a super strong opinion on her. But yeah, I think it was, even Thomas has spoken up. Both of them have said, like, the way that she tried to paint me as the villain was crazy. Especially now because he went on. Becca is like one of the most well-liked people from the franchise ever, in my opinion. So if she's gives the golden stamp on Thomas, then I'm gonna trust her. But you're right, they have one child now, and she is pregnant with their second, which is very exciting. I'm happy for her. Ari and Lauren did get married in Hawaii, and I think they have 4 kids, 2 of which are twins.
She might be pregnant right now. Hold on.
Oh my god. Okay,
but like
guys.
that might be pregnant with 4. Like not
with number
already
4.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, they are still
Hold on.
together.
Okay, no. It is out. The baby's out. She's got
Okay, cool. Is it a baby?
Yeah, I would say,
Gotcha.
like, I don't know how to gauge age. I'm not going to try to guess. But yeah, I think they had
Totally.
the 2 twins first, then they had a boy, and now they have I think it's a girl.
Mood. Yeah, I mean, there's no telling.
Who knows?
Everyone go
But
look
I
for
think
yourselves.
Becca ended up getting married just like in a courthouse. Like no big wedding.
I think they got pregnant with their first child before they were married, but they were already engaged.
Yeah, but I think
So that's probably why.
Yeah, I think they just went and got married at the courthouse.
Yeah. More and more people are doing that, man.
Well, also,
I'm telling
like,
ya.
I just feel like if your entire dating life was so public, like, that seems to be a great avenue, you know?
I
Just to,
agree.
like, finally have something in private.
And so that you don't have to televise your wedding on the Bachelor
Absolutely.
franchise, because I would absolutely refuse to do that.
100%.
Like, it's actually insane that there's been so many people that have gotten married on The Bachelor. When I really think about it, it seemed so normal when people started doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm like, that's weird as hell. Anyway, Ari was, like you said, on season 1 of The Traitors. They are technically one of the handful of Bachelor success stories, which is just funny because, you know, I think when something happens like that, especially when Becca was so likable and something like that happens, it's like you hope that that person's relationship does almost, this is like a mean thing to think, but like you just don't wish that person well in the relationship with the other person.
Mm-hmm.
But when they work out, it's kind of like you can't really argue with it.
No, you can't. It was, I guess, meant to be in a way.
Yeah, and also, not for nothing, I think Becca upgraded with Thomas, so not to be a bitch, but
I think that's fair.
Yeah. Something that I did think was funny that I wanted to put in here was an alleged social media dig from Becca to Ari, alleged being the key word.
Okay.
Essentially what happened is in May 2019, Ari and Lauren had their first child, and the whole time that they were in the hospital, they documented everything about the labor and were posting it on Instagram, which I think is weird to begin with.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, there's nothing that disinterests me more than like someone's birth story. Like when people do like story times on that, like
Mhm.
I just genuinely do not need to know that. I'm so happy for you. I'd rather just see a picture of your baby, once they're cleaned off, because people like to do that shit too, where they put their baby with all the stuff on it, and it really icks
Ew,
me out
ew,
bad.
ew. Why do you call
No,
it
I'm
stuff?
serious. People do that.
Oh,
Like like the baby is immediately out the womb.
Oh,
Leave
I've
your
seen.
baby
Yeah,
with some
no,
dignity.
I've seen that. Some
My thing is, if I were the baby and I grew up and saw that my mom posted that, I'd be pissed. Girl, give me a bath first. Anyway.
My mom's shutterfly pictures don't even go back that far. They start when Gus was born, and so and to that I take offense.
I mean, thank God Shutterfly wasn't around at that point, because she would have put a picture of a gunky baby
Ew.
in her Shutterfly book.
Ew.
No, actually, I don't think she would have done that. Honestly,
No,
I
they
don't
were
know why
too
I just said
busy
that about
celebrating Thanksgiving.
She's like, this really harshed
She's
my
like,
vibe.
this really got in my way.
I think that's probably how all of us were feeling.
I was actually born the Monday after Thanksgiving, so.
Oh, and you said
Calm
I'm
down.
gonna give them their holiday.
I gave them the holiday
in peace. She was so pregnant at Thanksgiving.
Oh
probably
my
so
God.
uncomfortable.
I can only imagine.
I would have eaten half the house.
Maybe
if that
that's
had been
why I
me.
love Thanksgiving food so much.
God, I do love a Thanksgiving. I like the sides. I don't really like the meat.
No, I just want stuffing.
I just want mac and cheese.
The mac and cheese
whatever
is great too.
whatever dessert my
But I
brother
don't think people
decides to make that
understand
year.
how much I just like love stuffing.
I'm gonna get you stuffing for your birthday this year. A stuffing subscription.
Stuffing.
1 year, to the listener, 1 year my mom got Julia a Cookie of the Month Club for her birthday from a cookie brand that our grandmother used to send
It's
us
the best
cookies
gift I've
from.
ever been gifted.
And it actually was like her excitement was like the best thing I've ever witnessed. Like she loved Cookie of the Month Club. And then she would get upset because this was when she was in high school, and so her mom would put her Cookie of the Month Club cookies in her brother's lunchbox, and she got really upset about it.
I was fully in college.
Wait, then how did your mom have your Cookie of the Month?
I didn't. Cookies? No. I don't remember. No. Because I think she would just get them for us, but like really they were just for me. Like this is before Cookie of the Month. My mom would just like surprise us with them at like Halloween or whatever, and I would get angry. But I think sometimes I would bring the boxes home because, to be honest, there were a lot of cookies in each box. But I would still get offended when she would give them to my brother for lunch.
Right. No, I would be too. This is actually funny because speaking of cookies, this social media dig has to do with that. Okay. So basically, Ari and Lauren are posting their labor updates all day, whatever.
Great.
Then when the baby's born, they post a picture of her on Instagram with the caption
fresh. Oh,
I didn't even look. Fresh baby. I mean, I hope not, but knowing them, probably. The caption read, Alessi Rin Lyondike, born May 29, 2019 at 2:09 p.m., 6 pounds, 13 ounces, 20 inches long. She is sweet and calm. At Ari Jr. and I could not be more in love with her. Yeah, I know. Interesting name, right? And then 2 days later, Becca posts a story of some chocolate chip cookies that she made and captioned it, on May 31st at 6:08 p.m., 9 beautiful dark chocolate chip cookies were born into this world. After 12 minutes of intense waiting, Mom and Cookies are doing all right.
Wow, Becca. Go off, queen.
I do think she has said that this like wasn't a dig, but I honestly think it was hilarious even if she didn't mean it as a dig.
I don't see that as a dig, more as just like having fun.
Yeah, I agree. I just thought that was hilarious. Like she is actually really funny. I remember that from her Bachelor in Paradise season as well. Like I remember her having quite the personality. I feel like sometimes the Bachelor leads and even the contestants, like you don't really grasp how funny they are because the edit
like is such a serious edit.
Yeah, but yeah, I do remember her being funny, so that just didn't surprise me. But okay, so that is Becca and Ari. Our next one is kind of another instance of this happening. This one's a bit lengthier. This is about Peter, Hannah Ann, and Maddie Pruitt. Pilot. Sorry. Some of you might know him as Pilot Pete.
I'm not a fan of any of these three.
Me neither. Hannah Ann I am kind of neutral on, but the other two I don't like. It seems that the Bachelor men just like never learn, which is unsurprising but disappointing. Because
Peter was born from my favorite season ever.
Why?
He's from Hannah Brown's season.
The people that came out of it, yeah. Or came before him, I guess.
I love Hannah Brown's season.
Yeah, her season. I actually saw a clip of her season today.
You can't find it. You can't watch it anywhere, and it irritates me because I want to educate certain people on it, and it's nowhere to be found.
Wait, that's so weird though, because she's still so relevant in the Bachelor.
I don't
sphere.
understand.
That's so strange.
It's not on Hulu, I can tell you that.
Ugh, that's annoying.
Because I just want to show
Bachelor,
people that
put it
one
back
episode
on.
where she moves the freaking thing.
Stop, that was iconic.
And
she goes, well, in that case, let me help you out, and moves the roast stand. He's like, I'm not leaving.
She's like, okay.
Oh, well, we can take care of that.
Don't worry
right
about
now.
that. You know what?
She was so funny.
Jesus still loves me.
You know what? Jesus still loves me. Her accent.
I fucking love her. I love her.
She's hilarious. But yes, so you're right. So Peter Weber, the Bachelor in question for this segment, did come from Hannah Brown's season. He was the Bachelor in 2020, on season 24. And I feel like...
so he was the season that they had already filmed before COVID, right?
Yeah. You can correct me if I'm wrong. The entire season, he was always kind of leaning towards Madison or Maddie. I'll probably refer to her as Madison.
Madison? Oh, okay. Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. I feel like it was almost similar to, if I can just draw a quick comparison here, to Colton and Cassie season, where she was kind of playing hard to get, like, unintentionally, and it just made him obsessed with her.
Yeah.
Like, I don't really feel like I don't feel like she ever really was into him that much. Maddie. Maybe I will call her Maddie, whatever. She actually met his parents pretty early on in the season on her one-on-one, where his mom actually said to her, quote, I have to admit, he seems like he's in awe of you, and that makes me happy because I really like you.
Wait, why did she meet the parents?
I think it just had to do with whatever they were doing on their one-on-one. I think he's from California, so maybe his parents lived nearby. Or something like that. If that's truly, I don't know if that's the truth, but for some reason that's what I'm remembering. But keep this in mind, this interaction with his mom, keep this in mind. When it got to the point of fantasy suites, though, is when things started to break down between them. Maddie is extremely religious, and this is probably, her beliefs are probably what you're kind of referring to as maybe making her not your favorite person. Not that there's anything wrong with being religious, she just takes it to another level. But she told Peter that if he had relations with any other contestants in the fantasy suites, then she would not be moving forward. What are your thoughts on that?
I think that the fantasy suite dates have a certain connotation, and if you weren't okay with that before coming, then you shouldn't have come on the show.
I agree. I like have a hard time with it because I agree with that, but I also think it's like really not that much to ask that, you know, if you've told somebody that they're your front runner, which I feel like he probably had at this point, I don't think that that's like an unreasonable request on her part.
We don't know, like, that's just like surface level. We don't know what Peter promised her. We don't know if Maddie had talked to Peter before the fantasy suite dates and we didn't see that. Like, we don't know anything in that context.
Totally.
All I know is that it's called the fantasy suite dates. It's not called this is your one night, no camera, you can just talk night.
Yeah,
okay?
Which I actually, to a lot of their credit, I actually do think that
that's what a lot of them do, and
happens.
That's totally fine. But like, you can't go in thinking that's what they're doing with everybody.
But Pilot Pete was a hoe. I mean, did she watch his season of The Bachelorette? Like,
literally,
he was a hoe. You know?
Is he not the windmill?
He is.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm saying. Like, he's not gonna say no to a woman in the fantasy suite. Let's just be honest.
Yeah.
Again, not that there's anything wrong with that.
No, he doesn't have to.
You know, know what you're getting yourself into, Maddie. Anyway, he then admitted that he had relations with the other women, or at least one of them, and she ends up walking out of the date. She did end up coming to the rose ceremony that week and moved forward to the episode where the final two meet his family. But at this point, his mom, Peter's mom, her name is Barb, she is relevant in this story, was not into the idea of Madison at all. Like, she was actually so mean to the both of them about the potential of them ending up together. She was, however, obsessed with his other finalists, Hannah Ann.
Wait, didn't she just really like Madison?
She did. That's what I'm saying. At the first time that
so
they met,
yes. Why? What's the change about? Okay.
Hold that thought.
Okay.
Okay. So his mom's obsessed with Hannah, but shortly after one of their final dates, Maddie did decide to leave the show because she felt that their values just did not align.
Okay. Bye.
She also right. So this, I guess, would be after she had met his family for the second time. she's like, I'm just going to take myself out of the running. Hannah Ann also considered quitting the show at one point because she felt like she was putting in so much effort and he just really was not returning it and wasn't sure that he was actually there with her, but he ended up convincing her to stay, which was very, like, Peter walked so Clayton Echard could run because he did the same thing to Gabby and Rachel.
Okay.
Peter subsequently proposes to Hannah Ann, and the two are engaged until the final episode, where it shows Peter breaking up the engagement with Hannah Ann 3 months after proposing to her because he still had feelings for Maddie at a happy couple weekend.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Why?
At the end of the day, I'm just not sure that happy couple weekend is an accurate description of these
At this point, it's just a weekend.
At this point, it's a getaway.
A getaway.
At this point, it's a vehicle to dump your significant other.
Yeah.
And production is driving the getaway car. So, but anyway, she's pissed. Honestly, I watched the clip. She ate him. Like, he was crying like a little bitch.
Is it because
trying to get her to feel bad for him.
Convinced her to stay?
Yes.
And then was like, nah. Okay.
Yes, she's like, you literally lied to me and said that you wanted to marry me so that you could get me to stay so I wouldn't leave on my own terms. You wanted to end it on your terms. You didn't want me to be the one to leave, which is so true. I also feel like she might have brought this up. She was 23 and he was 28 when they got engaged.
Ew.
Which I feel that's weird.
Well, that's like Becca from Ari's season. There's another Becca. The other one.
Oh, Becca, I know who you're talking about.
The one who
Becca
has the
M.
kids. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, they both have kids.
Yeah, she has like a lot of kids.
The one who married like the rock climber.
Yeah. I remember Becca M. I think. I don't remember.
She was
she had like a little pixie cut.
20. Yeah, pixie cut. 23. She was reported missing by her mom.
Oh my god, that was crazy.
But that was like a 20-year age gap with Ari.
Yeah, I don't like that. I like. In the grand scheme of things, 5 years is not that much of a difference, but it is when the younger person is 23.
Yeah.
You know? Like, if you came to me and you were like, I'm dating a 30-year-old, I'd be like, no, you're not.
That would be disgusting.
I'm calling the cops. That's what I would do. Anyway, but yeah, so she's pissed. He's crying like a baby. I feel like he was just trying to get her to feel bad for him. It's like, that's what all these men do. It's like they feel bad for being the one that has to break someone's heart, so they try and, like, cry and whatever. I'm sure they do genuinely feel bad, but it's like, we're not going to feel sympathy for you in this situation.
No.
She tried to leave and you convinced her to stay. And now, like, look what it is. The consequences of your own actions. So, after he breaks up with Hannah Ann, Chris Harrison goes to Alabama, which is where Madison lives.
Great.
Yep. I know. Imagine Chris Harrison just rolling up to, like, rural Alabama.
She's an Auburn girl. Right.
Yes. I think her dad's, like, a coach or something at Auburn. So he rolls up to Alabama to Madison's house in specific, and asked her if she would give Peter another chance and if she regretted leaving the show, and she answered yes to both of those questions. He then told her that Peter wanted a second chance, and she agreed, so Chris then took her to LA to meet up with him. He did not see her until after the final rose, and basically she agreed on camera live to just date him. It was low-key so awkward. I watched it, and she's like, yeah, like, okay. So uncomfortable. Hannah Ann also was at after the final rose and actually exposed Peter for still being in contact with Hannah Brown, his lead on his season of The Bachelorette.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. Basically, he was like, I just want closure with her, and it's just saying, like, I'm just still, there's things lingering. I just, like, want to talk to her about it. But Hannah Ann's specific quote was, I should have really picked up on the first red flag you gave me, that you wanted to reach out to Hannah Brown to find closure with her. So really looking back on it, our engagement involved 3 women. Me, you still being in love with Madison, and you needing closure with Hannah Brown. Word of advice, if you want to be with a woman, you need to become a real man.
Go off.
Like, she read him down. She really did. And where's the lie? She also said on a podcast, I think it was maybe Bachelor Happy Hour, when it was still hosted by Rachel Lindsay and Becca Krufren, ironically, from our previous story.
Ironic.
She and Peter had spoken on the morning of their breakup and had agreed that they were going to work through their issues and not break up, and then he blindsided her.
Okay.
Yeah. But Hannah Ann was not the only one who was pissed at Peter, because his mom was also fuming. She really hated Madison. Okay, so this is why I think that this was the case. Allegedly, Madison was having a hard time the day that she was supposed to meet his family when she and Hannah Ann were the final two. I guess because of this, she held up production for 3 hours, which really pissed his mom off. And then I guess like when she did finally agree to go and film the scene, she didn't apologize for keeping them waiting. And then she told them that she wasn't in love with him.
Oh, I don't know. Get over it. It's not.
Right. I feel like she was being a major boy mom in that moment. Like, oh my God, how could you not be in love with my son? I can't believe she would say that to me, type thing. Barb was annoying.
Oh, yeah. I don't think anyone liked her.
Ultimately, she was right, but we'll get there. She also did fully come for Madison. Like, there was an entire segment on the After the Final Rose where Peter and Madison are up on the couch with Chris Harrison, and the camera's like cutting between the two of them and Barb, and they're having a conversation. She's basically just saying, like, if Peter wanted Madison, then Madison should obviously want him. And she says straight up to his mom, she's like, this is not just Peter's journey. I have to choose him too. Which is very true.
That's a good thing to say. This is also your life. Yeah.
Because I disliked his mom because it really, really bothered me that I felt like she was just like, well, why wouldn't she want him? Like, he's the Bachelor. Obviously, she's gonna want him. But yeah, she told Chris Harrison that Peter has to fail to succeed, and just blatantly said that it wouldn't work out. I will say for Peter, he did stand up for her, but it was just so uncomfortable, and they're literally going back and forth while Peter, like, it was so awkward. It did not need to happen on camera, but I'm glad it did. And she was right ultimately, because 2 days later they announced on Instagram that they were not going to continue to date as they had previously said. It seemed very amicable. His statement read, quote, Maddie and I have mutually decided not to pursue our relationship any further. Believe me, this was not easy for either of us to be okay with, but after a lot of honest conversations, we have agreed that this is what makes the most sense for the two of us. The love and respect I have for Maddie will continue to endure. She also had a statement that read, quote, I am confident that we will both move in the direction of our purpose and never forget that God has a plan in all things. I will always love and respect him. I am convinced our paths were meant to cross, and we are better because they did. At Pilot Pete, you are an amazing guy, and I'm thankful for you. I will always be your biggest fan. Whatever.
Okay.
So yeah. Ultimately, his mom was right, but his mom is also undoubtedly psychotic. There were some interactions in the comments between Hannah Ann and Madison on social media, like, since everything. So it seems like they were amicable. So they were like commenting on each other's pictures, hyping them up, whatever. But as for where they are now, pretty sure Peter's still single. He was on the season 2 of The Traitors. I feel like they should bring him on Bachelor in Paradise if they ever do another season of that show.
He hasn't been?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, that surprises me.
And even if he had, I think they should bring him back.
Agreed.
Just because he is entertaining TV. Because he's so immature.
Yeah.
He's so emotionally stunted for a man of his age. It's crazy. On the contrary, Madison is married, and she, I think, has 1 kid. But the more important thing that I feel as though I have to add here is that she and her husband are weirdo freaks.
Oh my God. It's like, they kept coming up on my, like, whatever the Instagram For You page is. I don't know.
Your Explore page.
Yeah, Explore page. And I was like, what is, this was a while ago, because they kept going on podcasts talking about how, like, she serves him.
Yeah.
What?
Look, there is nothing wrong with having a religious, like, what is the word I'm looking for? Religious foundation. Obviously, like, have a religion by all means. I feel as though she and her husband use it to push this, like, agenda that women should only have, like, traditional roles in the household, and, like, they shouldn't work, and they should, like, be subservient to their husbands, and it's really weird. Hannah Ann is also married. I think she's married to a pro athlete, and I think they had a baby recently.
Okay. I don't think I actually have anything against her. I think it was just Maddie and Peter put a bad taste in my mouth.
Yeah, I always think I liked Hannah Ann. I actually think she would have made a really good Bachelorette.
I'm glad she's married. Good for her.
I can't remember who the Bachelorette from that season was. Melissa Rycroft, who you might remember from our first story in this episode. She actually spoke on why she thinks that this keeps happening after the Ari incident and now with Peter. And she said, quote, because they're men. They're guys.
Is that not what I said? Yeah.
No, you did. She goes, they short-term think with one thing, and then when the long-term comes, they're like, oh, wait a minute.
You're
I
like,
think being the Bachelor, I mean, it's exciting for these guys. What man doesn't want women fighting over them, and they can get the pick of anybody that they want? So sometimes maybe they pick the lusty one. And then they're like, wait a minute. Okay, yeah, you were hot, but I need that connection. Or there's just too many options. They don't know how to make up their mind. I don't know. They're boys. The girls are so much better at it.
They really are just like so annoying.
And honestly, I love that they asked her because she was the first victim in all this.
Absolutely. Yes.
But yeah, so why do I feel like now that we've done this episode, like Pete's like gonna get married or something, or like engaged? I could see that happening.
I mean, I feel like he would have posted if he had somebody, you know?
Yeah. I always felt like I could see him and Victoria Fuller getting back together, who was one of his final
Oh,
four.
I remember her. They
Yeah.
went on that date and the country singer was like her ex-boyfriend. That's what I remember.
Yes, which was so crazy. I can't believe they did that to her. Oh, that was funny. Okay, cool. So that is Pilot Pete. And so now we're going to switch it up to quite literally the complete opposite of what all of these idiotic men did on their seasons. And we're going to talk about what I would consider perhaps the most chaotic yet iconic, in my opinion, Bachelorette in the history of the franchise, which is Claire Crawley.
Oh my
I
god.
love Claire. I honestly stan Claire. I know a lot of people don't like her. I am really a fan of her.
Okay.
So, do you not like her? Tell me your thoughts.
I just feel like, I mean, go you for being so sure of your like so sure in your decision making skills, but you gave no one a chance and you wasted everybody's time.
Okay, that's a fair point.
It's weird.
I do think it begs the question, like, would she have ended up with somebody else had she continued?
That's what I'm saying. Like you didn't play the game, you know?
Yeah.
You gave no one a chance. And it would be one thing, not to spoil it, it would be one thing if it had worked out. Okay, but it didn't.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. I think there's something to be said for the fact that this is technically a social experiment and she didn't go through with the experiment. So, like why would she
even try?
do that? Yeah. Okay. So, I feel like something to understand about her season is that from the beginning, it was a little bit different. This was season 16 of The Bachelorette, and unfortunately, it was basically completely overhauled by COVID. Claire has a long history on the franchise. So she was on season 18 of The Bachelor, which was Juan Pablo's season, and she was the runner-up. She was then on the first 2 seasons of Bachelor in Paradise, where she also left single, and she even did a stint on this very, very weird spin-off. I don't know if you ever watched this. It was called Bachelor Winter Games.
No.
I watched a little bit of it, but I honestly couldn't even tell you the premise. Like, maybe they played little games or whatever, and they all lived in a house together. It was almost kind of like Summer House, but in the winter, which also there is a winter house, in case you didn't know that.
Yeah, I woke up one night and it was on my TV because I fell asleep to Summer House.
I've never watched it, but
no, I don't know anything about it. I stopped it.
Yeah. But on Bachelor Winter Game, she was actually in a love triangle, and she ended up engaged to one of the men at the reunion for that show. But a couple of months later, they broke up. I think he was like a French guy, maybe. Everyone who watched the franchise knew that Claire had kind of had a rough go at it. She was also a bit older than the average contestant. I think by the time she was the Bachelorette, she was 39, which in the grand scheme of things should actually be the average age for the Bachelorette, considering the premise of the show.
Yeah, they call her old.
Yeah, and then like for some reason, I mean, loved Hannah Brown's season, obviously, but she was 24 when she was the Bachelorette.
I did not realize that.
That's not who this show is for. Hannah Brown was going to find a partner regardless, you know? Anyway.
Yeah.
Same way I feel about Love is Blind. But I feel like, which just goes to show like society and whatever, I feel as though she kind of got painted as this sad, sort of washed up woman who just wanted nothing more than to be loved, which I think, yes, she obviously was very eager to find love, but I didn't really appreciate how they always painted her like that. I actually do think she had a lot going for her.
Yeah.
So when she became the Bachelorette, I remember it just like being mixed reviews. She was announced prior to COVID, so her season actually got delayed, and they had to hold it in isolation, so there was no travel or anything. I remember them being at like this resort, and there were these weird little mini pools everywhere.
Yeah, there were.
I don't know why, that's what I remember. It honestly though just seems so par with the shit end of the stick that it seems like Claire kept getting from this show. So she was a good spirit about it until her season begins. She has a full cast of men, but the entire time she basically could only talk about one man, and his name is Dale. He got her first impression rose, and I feel like I remember her even before cutting, spoiler alert, she cuts her season off early, but I feel like I remember her like even cutting short dates or even canceling dates to hang out with him.
She only did like 2 or 3 episodes. It was crazy.
Yeah. So by episode 4, just 12 days into her season, Claire decides that Dale is the one for her.
Yeah.
To all of our surprise. They also had a 7-year age gap, FYI. So he was 32, which is not as weird as Pilot Pete and Hannah Ann, but just something to note. I guess the way this worked is that she just went to producers and told them that she was done and that she wanted to get engaged to him. And then maybe they went to ask him if like he would be okay with that. I can't imagine them just thrusting him in that situation without giving him a heads up, you know? But essentially he proposed on the spot. It was honestly giving manic episode from both of them.
Like, are you guys okay?
Are you guys okay? He had to have a heads up because how is he just going to propose on the spot like that?
Lord knows.
Weird. I felt as though I watched it while I was writing this. His speech to me, to her, like when he was proposing, felt so not genuine, which is no surprise, but she did say yes and they got engaged. After they got engaged, they did an interview with Chris where he asked what was next, and I had to put this in here. Claire screamed, "Babies!"
Oh my god, and he's like, what?
His reaction was hilarious. Like, I would encourage everyone to go look it up because his face is like, oh my god, what did I just get myself into? She obviously got a lot of criticism for ending the show so abruptly, but she really doubled down on it and just basically was like, it's love at first sight. She basically said, you know, I get that I'm not for everyone, but at the end of the day, this is for love. It's not the norm, but I couldn't have predicted this. Like, there's no way to predict this, blah, blah, blah. But she still had 16 contestants left when she ended it. And obviously the Bachelor's like, okay, well, we need to keep this season going. Like, we can't just cut the cameras. We just, you know, made it through COVID. We have to do this. So they decided to replace Claire with Tayshia, who in my opinion was probably one of the best Bachelorettes of all time, in my opinion.
Humbly. I love Tayshia.
I still love Tayshia. She's like one of the few that I still follow on Instagram. They basically gave the guys the chance to stay or they could have decided to leave. But she ended up getting engaged, and they were together for a while. Their breakup was devastating to me, her and Zach.
Very upset. I was not ready. I wasn't ready.
Maybe we'll do an episode on worst Bachelor breakups, because that one was really hard for me.
Okay, wait, but she was on season of The Bachelor, then she won a Bachelor in Paradise because she was with John Paul Jones.
Claire? Or Tayshia?
No, Tayshia.
Yeah, I remember that.
And then she was the Bachelorette.
Okay. Interesting.
Unless she went on Paradise after her and Zach broke up, but I think that was recent.
No, she didn't. It wasn't recent, but I don't think it was after they broke up. I think you're right. Because it was like, yeah, that would make sense because Tayshia was from Colton's season.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think it was Hannah Brown. And then it was Matt James, right?
Well, I don't know.
I don't know. I think the fans were like calling for Tayshia. Like Tayshia was also a little bit older in the franchise, and I think they wanted Claire to be replaced with somebody who felt like they were more stable and mature.
Okay, yeah, so she was on Colton's season of The Bachelor, and then she got with John Paul Jones in The Bachelor in Paradise. They broke up, blah, blah, blah. They ended in October 2019. She was The Bachelorette in 2020. And then she co-hosted The Bachelor again?
Yeah, it was before they hired Jesse Palmer after Chris Harrison got the gig.
Oh!
Okay, so anyway, Tayshia and Zach, devastating breakup, but it does not stop there with Claire and Dale. So they get engaged July 2020. Unfortunately, by January 2021, they had broken up. He announces it on Instagram with a statement that read, quote, "I wanted to share with you that Claire and I have decided to go our separate ways. We appreciate the love and support we've received from so many people, but this is the healthiest decision for both of us at this time. We strongly believe in leading with love and always remaining true to oneself, something our families have taught and instilled in us throughout our lives. We only hope the best things for each other."
Didn't they get back together and break up like a couple of times?
Yep.
Okay.
We're going to talk about it.
Good.
So, honestly, though, this first breakup was, I feel like, very unsurprising. Like, everyone could tell that he didn't want to be with her.
Yeah, he looked like a fish out of water.
Yeah, and I think it becomes very clear as this story continues that, like, he really was just on that show for clout and just, unfortunately for him, ended up finding himself in a precarious situation.
And you know what? I just feel like he was never put in a position where he had to say yes. Like, why did he have to propose?
That's such a good point. You're right. I would actually love to know what his perspective on that was. Like, if he felt like the producers were basically forcing him to say yes. Not that, you know, you can still say no. But Claire, though, actually came out just a couple days after his statement And she said that it was not mutual and that she was actually blindsided by their breakup.
Oh my God, I remember this so well. That's crazy.
Yeah, which honestly, classic move for Claire, I feel. You know who she reminds me a little bit of, which you might not get this fully, but is Lindsay Hubbard. Like the
Who is
breakup with
that?
Carl.
Oh,
Lindsay from Summer
Oh
House.
my God, I don't know
Yeah.
her last name.
No, that's fair. Anyone who does know Lindsay's lore, let me know if you agree. But then, so that's all in January. But by February, they were actually seen together at a bar in Florida. And then in April, Dale said that they were spending time together again and that things were good. Spending time together. But by May, this is the thing. You give Claire an inch and she takes a mile. Because by May, she was wearing her engagement ring again.
Okay, good. Good job,
Yep.
Claire.
Yep. You know, he was like, oh my God.
You know, that makes
I'm
so
gonna
much
die.
sense.
Totally. They celebrated their 1 year together in July, even though they had broken up in between then. But then by September 21, they broke up. Yep. Claire made a statement basically saying that she would not be commenting on their breakup and she was dealing with a lot personally. She did have surgery. I think she might have gotten her breast implants removed. She had that thing where her breast implants started like leaking and they were like poisoning her body. Have you ever heard of that?
No, but now I will never be getting implants. Don't need them
Yeah.
anyways, but
It's like a huge risk that they've just kind of started, like I feel like in the last few years, it's just kind of started to happen.
well, that's terrifying.
I know. But there were also cheating allegations. It was rumored that the reason that they broke up the second time was because he supposedly cheated with a woman named Eleonora Srugo, who is actually a main cast member on the show Selling the City.
I've never seen
Which it's like a spin-off of Selling Sunset.
Oh, they were trying to push that on me during Selling Sunset.
Yes. It also might I can't remember if Selling the City and Owning Manhattan are two different things. I think they are. And I think this one was Selling the City. So yeah, there's rumors that he's cheating. Also, Dale did and I think still does live in New York, so like this technically would be like a plausible situation. He claims that their relationship was strictly business. Eleonora is obviously a real estate agent, so he could just claim that like she was his agent and that's why they were seen together. I don't really believe that at all. He's also been accused of cheating in his most recent Bachelor Nation fling from Paradise. So yeah, I definitely think he probably cheated on her. Claire has definitely said some shady things about him since. Like, he made his acting debut at one point, and which I know, I think it was like a Hallmark movie or something.
Oh, buddy.
People kept sending her clips of it, and she responded at one point, "You can stop sending me this. I had a front row seat to his acting."
Oh, I'm dead.
So like I said, Dale was on Bachelor in Paradise just this past summer. He ended up with Kat Izzo, who is from a later season of The Bachelor, and they dated for a while after the show was over, but then like recently she's come out and said that he was cheating on her and that he just treated her really poorly, which tracks with everything that Claire
what
said.
the hell?
I know. I fully believe that he came on the show in the first place just to promote his businesses, and I think that that's what he did on Bachelor in Paradise too. As far as I know, I think he's still single. He's just like Pilot Pete, these 40-year-old men that will never settle down because they still think that they're too young to get married and like let go of their youth. It's ridiculous.
Just do like anything else though.
Anything else. We're begging you. Be original for once in your lives. As for Claire, she got engaged in 2022 and married in 2023. And she and her husband have a baby together. I believe they used a surrogate. But I remember when I saw that, I was like, oh my God, I'm so happy for her. Because I know that's what she really wanted,
yeah,
kids.
that's what she wanted.
And I think she has a little girl, which I feel like is fitting for her.
Good for her, yes.
Okay, so that is Claire and Dale. I feel like that one was like truly a one-of-a-kind situation.
Yeah, I don't think that will ever happen again. I don't think they'll let that happen again.
I could honestly see something like that happening on Taylor Frankie Paul's season. She and Claire kind of have that same energy of like marching to the beat of their own drum, and they don't really care if production's mad.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just going to put that out there. That's a loose prediction that I have. We're going to wrap it up with perhaps the most controversial Bachelorette of the franchise, in my opinion. I was actually listening to her podcast today. You're going to be familiar with this name because for some reason she comes up all the time. Caitlin Bristowe.
Yeah. Got it.
Yep. Her season also started off a bit chaotic because for some reason the Bachelor producers, whatever, the crew behind that season decided to cast 2 leads, and then they thought it would be a good idea to have the men decide who they would want to be the lead.
So this is with Gabby?
No, so this is Caitlin Bristow, and the other girl's name was Britt. I'm not sure what her last name is. But, like, this was so messed up. Like, basically, they had the opening night, like, where they both met all the contestants. And then that night, the contestants got to, you know, get to know each of them a little better. And then at the end of the night, they wrote down who they wanted to be the lead and, like, put it in a little ballot box. And then
so
they
what, the other
counted
girl
the
has to
votes.
leave?
Yes. Isn't that so messed up?
Well, that's shitty. That's not
It's
fair.
just giving, like, the moment that the women are supposed to be in control, now you're giving the men the control.
That's weird. And they have never done that with the men.
No, I would actually love for them to. Tit for tat, if we're going to play it that way. It was also especially messed up because Caitlyn and the other girl, like, kind of had beef on their season of The Bachelor, like, where they were contestants together.
Okay.
So it just was, like, so petty. And like you said, they would never do that with the men, like, at all. It's also, like, they did it with these two, and then they did it with Gabby and Rachel, and they had to switch up the process midway through their season because all the men were going for Gabby, and it was a terrible experience for Rachel. That was, like, horrible to see. Honestly, she should have sued them for emotional distress after that. Back to Caitlyn. She was on season 11 of The Bachelorette, which came out in 2015 after being on Chris Soule's season of The Bachelor. So her season already starts off unconventional, which just continued when a former contestant from Andy Dorfman's season, Nick Viall, who I know you know.
Yep. Sure do.
Sure do. How could you miss him? Showed up asking for a chance to be on her season as a contestant. Nick was the runner-up on Andy's season, and he was, like, devastated that he did not win that season. And he also completely revealed on After the Final Rose that he and Andy had slept together, which I had forgotten about, but that was, like, a huge scandal.
Why?
I think it was because up until Caitlyn's season, like, they didn't really talk about fantasy suites like, they would allude to what was happening, but they didn't outrightly ever come out and talk about the contestants sleeping together until after Caitlyn's season. So everybody was like, I can't believe he would say that and, like, you know, expose her like that, which is disrespectful if you haven't discussed it with the person. But yeah, I mean, there's so much lore about Nick Viall we're not going to get into today. Maybe we'll do an episode on his lengthy run on the Bachelor franchise, because he had a lot of shows that he was on. But apparently he and Caitlyn had texted a little bit before she became the lead, which was also tea and, like, very much off limits, as you know. And so when he showed up to what I think was a group date, she did allow him to join, which obviously made all of the men furious. And he just overall was not well liked and basically was the villain on Andy's season as well. So I don't know why he would do this to himself.
Okay. Wait, so he was on, like, he showed up to a group date that he, like, didn't get picked to go on?
He showed up to a group date and he wasn't even on the season yet.
What?
He
How does
shows
that work?
up. He got in touch with the producers because he was on Andy's season, so he clearly had contacts with producers.
And so they already started filming Caitlyn's.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
It definitely wasn't very far. Like, I would say it was maybe like
weird.
2 weeks.
They're like, who is this random guy?
Yeah. And I do think that some of them knew who he was, and he did not have a very good reputation coming off of Andy's season. So all around, like, I don't know why he would do that.
Mhm.
But when Andy got wind of this, she tweeted, quote, "One word, run. Okay, 2, run fast. Really wishing I had the superpower of reaching through my TV right now."
That's funny.
Allegedly, the ratings on The Bachelor were struggling recently. Well, at the time of this. And I think that that's probably why they allowed Nick to come on. But I actually do think that if we owe anyone for saving the show, it's Caitlin Bristow for her season. Not that I necessarily think that the Bachelor franchise needed to be saved, but whatever. For anyone that feels that way, it's probably Caitlyn's doing in a good way. The reason for this, though, was Caitlyn's openness about sex throughout her season. During the season, pretty early on, she and Nick had a one-on-one, and I think that they ended up sleeping together, and this was, like, a huge first for the show. They would, like, allude to the fantasy suites, but this was another level, and I remember so vividly that they talked about this on the Today Show, because I remember I was obviously a huge fan of the show, and my mom knew that I watched it, and I remember she came to me when she goes, "Are there people having sex on camera on this show?"
Wait, so it wasn't even the fantasy suite date. They just were, like, doing it on a regular date.
Yeah. I'm not even sure, like, how they ended up in a hotel room and not just, like, I guess they probably went back to her. because obviously like she doesn't stay in the mansion, so she probably was like staying in a hotel somewhere and that's where they went. But yeah, I just remember my mom being like, is this inappropriate? Like, should you be watching this
LOL.
as at 15 years old? I was like, no, I don't think so. I think it's fine. Anyway, because of this, Caitlyn received a ton of backlash and slut shaming from fans, but also from the men on her season. And the edit really made it very dramatic that she had slept with Nick. Like, they often would portray it as a mistake. Like, they would make her refer to it as a mistake and saying that she felt badly for doing it. I think the reason that, like, here's the thing. If I were on this show as another contestant and the lead did that with somebody else before Fantasy Suites, I would also be mad. I think the double standard.
Yeah, because that's just like not the show.
Right. But also I think the double standard is that this has definitely happened before. It's just never been a storyline or on camera. So like I'm sure that there are former bachelors that have done this and it just didn't get exposed. I listened to a book by a former winner of a season long time ago, and her name was Courtney something, I can't remember her last name, but she was talking about how the Bachelor, the lead of her season, that they also like slept together before like midway through the season, but there were no cameras, so there's no footage of it. Like this definitely happens probably like every season, if not every other. So yeah, I think that was just why she was like, I don't understand why I'm getting so much hate. Anyway, she did say about it at one point, quote, "I'm so fine with people disagreeing with me or having their opinions. That's okay. The hardest part is it affects my family. I like to think that it doesn't matter what people think about me, but when thousands and thousands of comments just pouring in of people hating, I get death threats, which is unacceptable."
Yeah, no, it's not acceptable.
Chris Harrison even read some of them out loud at, I think, either the Men Tell All or the After the Final Rose. But they, in one of those episodes, they addressed the online bullying. Yeah, it was the Men Tell All. They addressed the online bullying at the Men Tell All because it had gotten so bad. She says about her actions, quote, "I don't think it's a crazy thing to sleep with somebody when you're trying to be in a relationship with them. I'm a 30-year-old woman and I make my own decisions, and intimacy to me is part of a relationship. I don't know why everyone is so shocked by it."
Go off, queen.
Yeah, I also think it's an important detail is she's Canadian, and I will say I don't know if this is the case with Canada. Let me know if anyone's from Canada and this is the truth, but like I know, for example, in Europe, they're so much more open about this kind of stuff than we are in the US. Like I feel like it's really like a cultural thing that the US is there's such a stigma around it. So I kind of wonder if it's the same thing in Canada, and maybe that's why she just was like, I didn't even think about there being backlash for this.
Maybe.
Ultimately, she did not end up with Nick, and he was the runner-up for a second time. She ended up with Sean Booth, who I think she had to have a one-on-one conversation with about sleeping with Nick, and from what I remember, I don't think it went well. Like, I think he was really upset with her, which, again, I think it's valid for the men to be upset. What's not okay is, like, then bringing her, like, the slut-shaming into it. You can be upset about it in a mature way without disparaging her, Caitlyn and Sean actually stayed together for a while, but they never got married. I think it was kind of a tumultuous end to the relationship. She then dated another Bachelor contestant from Becca Kufrin's season, actually, Jason Tartik, who I think
I do know, yeah.
know. Yeah, they dated for several years. I think that was also kind of not a great breakup. And I think she might be dating Zach Clark, Tayshia's ex-fiance.
What, right now?
Yes, or at least like I remember some things coming out about them, I think last year. And it was tea because Tayshia and Caitlyn hosted a season of The Bachelorette together.
Oh.
Yeah, in that hiatus that you looked at, that you found earlier, where they had fired Chris and they were waiting for Jesse. She and Caitlyn hosted that. She and Tayshia hosted that season together. So I remember Tayshia having some choice words for Caitlyn when the rumors were flying. But I don't know if she and Zach are actually ended up ever dating and if they're still together today. I know.
I don't know.
She also apparently leaked that Sean was her winner by accidentally posting a Snapchat with him in it on her story when they were at a happy couple weekend.
Oopsies daisies.
And I just feel like that's the perfect way to round this out with the amount of mentions of the happy couple weekends here.
It happens.
Yeah, but that is our top 5 most shocking moments from the Bachelor franchise. If anyone has any, or if you have any requests for more that you want me to do, this was a fun episode to write. Clayton, to your earlier point.
Oh, yes.
But yeah, What did you think? Did you learn anything or did you know about these?
No, I didn't know about Caitlyn and I didn't know about Jason.
Caitlin's season was good. If you
Yeah.
can find that one, you should watch it.
Yeah, I don't know why I didn't. Because it was definitely post when I started.
Yeah.
I missed it, I guess. I don't know.
You know what actually was funny? I was listening to an episode of Caitlin's podcast today because she did an interview with Jesse from Mormon Wives.
Yeah.
And they were talking about Taylor's upcoming season. And I think Jesse said, like, you walked so Taylor could run, basically, to Caitlyn. And Caitlyn goes, I always say that I walked so Hannah Brown could run, so Taylor could fly.
There we go. I like it.
And I thought that was funny.
That is funny. It's funny.
I was like, yes, girls, sticking together. But yeah, that is going to round us out for this week's Fame Files.
I hope everybody has a good rest of their day.
Yeah, if you guys like these episodes where we do like multiple stories in one, let us know.
Yeah.
And then next week is going to be our second celebrity deep dive, and we're gonna be talking about Drew Barrymore.
Love her.
Love her. That was a really fun episode to write, so I'm excited for everyone to hear it. She's just truly so resilient. But yeah, I hope you all find something to gossip about this week.
Yes, go forth and gossip. Goodbye.
Ta-ta.
Thank you so much for listening. We hope you enjoyed this episode, and we will see you next week for more pop culture chaos. The stories we cover are based on research and publicly available sources. While we strive for accuracy, some details may be disputed or unverified, and this episode is for entertainment and informational purposes only.